Alright, sit around, relax yourselves, because I'm going to tell you a bone-chilling story that you will never forget. I'm a 29-year-old man who works a dead-end job. Nothing crazy really happens in my life, except for that one day. And I will never forget that day, because so much craziness happened on that single day. It was a Friday afternoon. I knew it was because that's when I would receive my paycheck at the end of the month. And the end of the month happened to land on a Friday. Now, instead of being an actual adult, I wanted to blow my money on the couch, which probably still explains why I live with my parents. But anyway, I didn't want to just spend my money on any couch. There was one particular couch that caught my eye, and I've been wanting to buy that couch ever since. I just had to wait for the right time to buy it, and since our last couch happened to be coincidentally destroyed yesterday, it was the right time to buy that couch. Now, the couch that caught my eye was a Darcy sofa from Ashley's. Loose seats, attached back and armrest cushions wrapped in thick polyfiber, polyester, upholstery, exposed feet with foxwood finish, corner block frame excluded from promotional discounts and coupons. Width 89 inches, depth 38 inches, height 37 inches, seat depth 22 inches, seat height 21.50 inches, distance between the arms 62 inches, top of the cushion to top of the back 18 inches, arm height 31.50 inches, minimum width of the door for delivery 32 inches, leg height 3 inches. It seemed really good just by that description, so you could see that I really wanted this couch. But when I looked at the price, it was $399.99. I was only short $1, and when I found out, I was saddened by this. So I called Ashley's to see if they could lower the price by just $1 less. They said no, and I threatened that I would speak to their manager just like my mom did at Trader Joe's last week. But he still said no, and he said that he was the manager. I was quickly upset by this news. I declined the phone and became desperate. I searched everywhere around the house just for that singular dollar. There had to be a dollar lying around the house, right? No, there was nothing. I asked my dad, since he spoils me all the time, and he said that he didn't have enough money because he actually paid bills like a responsible adult would. I even tried to rob people at a nearby McDonald's, but I was quickly kicked out afterwards. You're probably going to see that on Fox News later at 6 tonight. But anyhow, I did not want to give up. I had to get my couch. So I went on my computer and did the unthinkable. I went on Craigslist. Now I know, I've seen all those crazy Craigslist stories on YouTube. But still, sometimes in life we just have to take risks. So I looked for the couch, and sure enough, after a few minutes worth of searching, I found that exact same couch. Same width, same height, all descriptions fit the Ashley website. The price was $100 cheaper than the original. It seemed to look like in perfect condition, and the location of the ad happened to be around my area. I was excited, so as soon as I saw the ad, I hit up the seller. He introduced himself as Bob, a red flag on Craigslist, but again, we have to take risks. Anyways, I asked him where we could meet up. He told me to meet at his house at 10 o'clock in the night. Again, this was another red flag. But these bargains, man, there's no way I could pass this up, even if something potentially life-threatening could happen to me. So, we agreed under those arrangements. And when it was about 9:50, I decided to drive up to that guy's house since the location was about 10 minutes away from my own. When my parents asked me where I was going, I told them I'd be getting milk. They told me to get the chocolate milk, so I said, okay, that's fine with me. I don't even drink milk. So I got in the car and drove to his house. When I went into his neighborhood, I realized I was on the bad side of town. I did not like where this was going, but my foot was still on the pedal, and it wasn't until a matter of time until I got to that guy's house. His house looked the worst compared to the rest of the neighborhood. First of all, there were 3 beware of dog signs instead of 1. There was spray paint around the house saying, "Don't come any closer. You'll regret it." The walls of the house were cracked. The trees looked cynical and twisted. The grass looked like it hadn't been cut in over a year. But worst of all, the door to the house was already open. It's like the seller knew that I would be coming that night. And he's not wrong. I'm the literal definition of a horror movie character. I went into that house, and let me tell you, it was pitch black, no light in sight. I felt like I was falling into some deep abyss. The deeper I went into the house, that's when I started to get worried. "Bob!" I called. There was no answer. "Bob!" I called again, but I still didn't hear a response. "All right, I'm leaving," I said. That's when I heard a voice. "No, don't leave. Stay. Come outside. There's a surprise waiting for you outside. Just step outside." So, I listened to the man's voice and I stepped outside. When I went outside, I found no one. I found no couch either. I knew I was in a trap. I didn't know what to do. All I saw was 2 chairs, one behind me and one in front of me. A table was in the middle of those chairs. There was something on the table. It looked like a contract of some sort. That's when I realized what was going on. "No," I said. No, this can't be happening. How did I get in this predicament?" Yes, my friend, you indeed did fall for the trap. I knew you'd be coming today, and look what happened. You and your idiot self showed up to this house, and now you're going to face the worst. Face my wrath indeed, the figure said. I knew I was in danger. That's when he opened his mouth, and he said,
"We'd like to reach you regarding your car's extended warranty."
That's when I quickly panicked. I left the house as soon as possible, hopped in my car, and drove away as fast as I could. Once I was 5 minutes in the drive, I sighed in relief. The worst is over, I thought. No way that I'm gonna see that man again. But my words spoke too soon, because when I looked in the mirror, that man was on my tail. The man, he had a chain of 5 dogs, and he was riding on a sled. The dogs were tied up on a metal chain, and the guy, he was on road. It was unbelievable. I didn't know what to think of it. I was panicking. I screamed to the top of my lungs and I slammed my foot on the gas pedal. I didn't care if I would get pulled over or not. I knew that my life was in danger. But even though I was going as fast as I could, the man would just keep on getting closer and closer to my car. Eventually, he reached the trunk of it, and that's when he hopped from the sled into my vehicle. It was quiet for a few seconds. I knew it wasn't good. Then, all of a sudden, he stuck his hand into my car. He made a huge hole to where he was able to stick his face inside. He had a creepy and cynical face. A face that I could never forget, even if I wanted to. It was something I couldn't erase from my mind. I get chills just thinking about it just now. He had the creepiest smile I'd ever seen. That's when he continued to scam. I quickly threatened him that I would call the cops, even though I was going 110 miles per hour. And that's when they were probably on their way to give me a speeding ticket. The man ignored me, and he kept on spatting out his commercial nonsense. I had to do something. He couldn't just continue the whole manuscript, otherwise my money would be gone, and I wouldn't have enough to pay for that speeding ticket. That's when I started to swerve. It did absolutely nothing. I tried to punch the man. No, He was still smiling at me and continuing his scam. I quickly slammed my foot on the brake. That's when the man went flying out of the car. When he landed on the ground, he looked like a dead man. I thought that was it. But that's when he quickly got up. He tried to finish the manuscript. I thought there was no hope. I thought I would be scammed. Tears started to well up my eyes. I was hopeless. But that's when all of a sudden an ice cream truck came out of nowhere and it hit the man, and they both flew into a local Taco Bell that happened to be nearby. I was in unbelievable shock. Nothing this crazy had ever happened to my life. I thought that this would be something that you would only see in cartoons, but this time it was real. The rest of the story was boring. The cops came and I had to pay for that speeding ticket. But at least it was better than giving into that man's scams. Because if I'd be scammed, I'd be disowned by my family. When I went home, I quickly clicked out a Craigslist. I made an oath that since then I would never use Craigslist again, even though that incident happened just a few days ago. Who knew? Who knew if I would still be here to this day? I don't know. But you may be asking, what's the moral of the story? Well, it's to never use Craigslist, but to use Wish instead.